In this video, we're talking about why some rental arbitrage hosts fail. Hi, everyone. I'm Jon Bell, co-host of the Vacation Rental Machine podcast, where I scaled from 0 to 24 properties, making over $1 million in 2 years. All right. So we're talking about some of the common pitfalls that rental arbitrage hosts make. And one of the first pitfalls is overscaling. And when we talk about overscaling, of course, you've already heard the intro. You've heard me grow from 0 to 24 to 40 units. But that scaling for me had to be backed up by some data. And without that data, a lot of people just go out and grab apartments or homes and they just start adding without the actual numbers equaling that they should go out and get another property. What do I mean when I say looking at the data and looking at the numbers for actually picking up a property? One of the things that I ended up doing was I let my inquiries dictate whether or not it was a good time to actually pick up a place. If I had a place that was fully booked and I still had people ask me, is the place available? Or that I just added another place and I still received the same amount of requests that I did on the previous property before, that allowed me to grow from one unit to the next unit to the next unit. At the same time, I also recruited some business clients that gave me a guarantee that they would rent 1 or 2 properties from me monthly. This allowed me to pick up properties with the increase of demand. Scaling too quickly without knowing these key data points can leave you in a position where you have more availability of apartments and not a lot of people to come in and stay. Always trust but verify when you are looking to scale. So what does that mean? Never take on more properties than you verified there's demand for. The second reason that most rental arbitrage hosts fail is seasonality. If you've happened to make the first mistake that we talked about in scaling too quickly, one of the things you probably didn't recognize is the seasonality of the area that you decided to dominate. There's always peaks and valleys in every market, and not knowing this information can leave you naked whenever your low season hits. You should be able to log into AirDNA and identify the high and low season within your selected market. This will have the top rate and also the lowest rate that happens within the season. Without knowing this information, you might assume that you could operate in high season dollar values throughout the entire calendar year. Of course, that means during the low season, you might be operating somewhere close to your minimum price, where in high season, you are operating at or above your high price or base price. If you'd like to see a detailed video on our in-depth pricing strategy, there's a link below. That takes us to number 3, which is cash flow management. And if you don't know any of the data that we talked about before, this one is really going to cripple you and turn your business either off or slow it down dramatically, because you didn't manage your revenue in the high season to sustain the low season. Without sustaining yourself or knowing when the low season was going to hit and reserving funds or changing how your pricing strategy actually works to keep occupancy at a certain level, you will hit your low season pretty dry and you won't have funds to make it through. One of the rules that you should apply is to save from your high season at least 3 to 4 months of your expenses to carry you through the slow season. However, this might differ for some markets. If you identify that your slow season endures a longer period, you want to make sure that you save the funds to match that slow season. Of course, we all were hit by the curveball called the coronavirus, and for some of us, that actually was the death of us if we started out in the low season of a market expecting the high season to come in and carry us away. Similar to my market here in DC, where March begins the high season, I didn't realize any of those profits, and I wasn't able to recoup or set aside my reserves that I would normally set aside at this moment for my anticipated low season coming in September. If you're able to avoid these common pitfalls, you'll be able to build or rebuild a business with making proper decisions. If some of these things might have scared you off and you want to learn about a strategy that doesn't require you to actually rent a property or own a property, co-hosting might be the way to go. There's a link down in the description for a video on what that is and how to do it. If you like this video and you'd like more content like it, please like and subscribe. Until next time.